Welcome back to another episode of Presley's Pod. Happy Sunday. I feel like I just need to take a deep breath. Wow. Where do I even start? Okay. Obviously, I have a new setup that I just spent the past, I can't even talk. Great. This is going really well. I spent the past 20 minutes trying to figure out how to set it up because this room got redone and some things that worked previously were not working. And, I was very frustrated and it was bothering me. And I just said, I can't wait till one day I have a set and I don't have to set this up myself anymore. And I can walk onto set and just plop down and start talking. So I said, you know what, let's just manifest that so that I don't have to deal with this anymore. And hopefully it will get me out of this mood that I'm in on this fine, well, today's Saturday, on this fine Sunday. So it's been a busy week. Let's start with going back a week. I went to Naples, Florida with Lauren and Addie, and we had the best time. We'll do maybe a recap episode, but there's not much to recap. We went to the pool or the beach, and then we came home, got ready, we went to dinner, we went out. We actually went out and we went there during spring break, right? So there are more people there around and like out on the town than there usually are. And there was one bar that this is the only thing that I'll really tell from the trip because there's not much. There was one bar that we went to the first night. The ratio from men to women was crazy. I have never seen like this. I swear, usually in New York, you're depending on where you go, usually it's either a good mix or there's mainly girls. This was like it was guys' night or something. And later, more girls started coming in. There were girls there, but we were like, oh, interesting. Okay, so we'll definitely probably maybe talk to someone. How many people do you think talked to us? How many people do you think came up to the three of us and introduced themselves or said something funny? How many people? Yeah, two. Two. And here's the thing, didn't happen within the first hour. For the first hour, we were just standing there vibing together. And it's not that we went to the bar to have someone to come up to us, but that's the vibe that it was giving. You're on vacation. You want to talk to people that maybe you don't see every day. You want to get to hear some other stories or hear more about where they're from, whatever. And the two people, the first person, I completely missed this because I went to the bathroom. The first person, oh, and they were wide ranges of ages from like early 20, well, 21 and up to like later. So the first person asked my friend Lauren, I would say his friend group was probably mid 30s. And this is actually extremely depressing. His friend group is mid 30s, he's mid 30s. He talked to my friend Lauren and asked for her Instagram, got the Instagram, walked away. Now, that to me is behavior that we would expect from a 16-year-old. Maybe 21 if you're like actually being if you're giving them some grace. And so when that 35 something year old man said that, I was like, oh, this is just not like, that is so not it. And we were leaving the bar as we were like trying to get around to go. He didn't say anything to her for the rest of the night, didn't message her on Instagram, didn't do anything. We were leaving the bar and we were kind of towards the door. These two guys, I don't even remember how we started talking. They started talking to us. We find out that they're 21 and 24. And they were so sweet, but it was like talking to our younger brothers. And we were like, we are not we are not going to be the girls for you, but one day another girl that is closer to your age is going to be very happy that you had the confidence to go up and talk to her, but it's not going to be us. They and I actually did feel bad for the 21-year-old at this point. We were just like, oh, we got to get out of here. The 21-year-old said that Lauren looked good for 28. And I was like, I don't think we said anything, but I was like, but this is not. I I wish we would have told him that maybe he should just keep those thoughts to himself, but they were harmless. So then we left and we had an amazing trip. And I love going down there with them every time. The best friends to travel with because we're just all the same with what we like to do while we're there. But I always come back feeling absolutely wrecked. You would think that we were going on benders every night. And I think the reason that I feel so unwell usually is because I like to drink. I like to go out and drink, but I don't like to do it multiple nights in a row. That's where things start to go downhill for me. I like can literally feel my battery power. I start to run on empty. So the last day of Naples, I'm always feeling like I can give about 20% and then I have to go. And so and we weren't even drinking during the day. We didn't drink at the beach. We were drinking energy drinks because we were trying to hold on and we're like, okay, we can rally to go out tonight. But so we had the best time but coming back on Tuesday night, I was already wrecked. And then my family came into town, and thank God they did because my mom helped me redo this entire room. So, same thing as last time. The task rabbits came, set up the furniture, but this time was a little trickier because I had all of my stuff everywhere. And here's the thing, I personally feel like as a girl, I don't have that much stuff. I think as a girl, I've seen friends' closets and I have an appropriate amount. I have less than the average. So we're not working with a lot here. I said to Lauren and Addie, if I'm dating a guy and we say we go on 8 dates during one season, winter, spring, summer, he by those 8 dates, he's seen some repeats. Not repeats outfits, we mix and match the tops, but and the bottoms, but he's definitely seen I don't have that many clothes, any that many real people clothes. But I was in the other room and my mom was in here helping me organize while I was finishing up some work. And she said, all of a sudden I hear, Presley. And I was like, what happened? Like, did something fall? My poor closet organizer fully broke. Presley. And she's like, no one needs this many sweatshirts. I was like, Mom, I do. Like, this is what I wear to work. This is what I wear for Presley's Pod. Like, I hate that on Presley's Pod, I've had to repeat sweatshirts. I hate that. I want a new one every time. And so I agreed to throw one away and throw it away. I've had it for a year. I'm looking at it right now, RIP. I've had it for years. It's old. It's time. But here's the thing. I have sweatshirts and sweatsuits that I wear outside. I wear to work. They're nice. I keep them looking nice. I feel very presentable when I wear them. And then I have the ones that you just wear at home. Like, you're not going to wear them outside. It's just casual. Like, there's sweatsuits that I wouldn't put on just to hang around in my house because those are the ones that I wear when I'm outside. So, and I posted it on my close friends on Instagram. And unfortunately, most people agreed with my mother that I do have too many. And as soon as I threw that blue one out, I get an email from Aritzia, new blue color. Oh, new blue color, and it comes in shorts. And that's just how they get you. I truly, when people say, "Oh, I have the shoppies," like I'm kind of I want to buy something, I'm in the mood to buy something, or if I start looking at summer clothes, I immediately go to the and this is not me trying to be like a cool girl because I'm not like tomboyish. I just love to be comfortable. I always go for the sweatsuits first. I think 2 years ago I bought a pair of blue jeans. Like, we were not putting money towards the real people clothes. So anyway, speaking of the sweatsuits though, with this new organization, there's currently a pile on the floor over there that they do not have a home. And it's New York City. I'm trying to look around and wonder where I can put them because they cannot live on the floor in there. So it's been a little crazy coming back from Naples and then diving into my family was here for a couple nights, which we had so much fun. And I owe my mom such a huge, and I obviously told her this, but a huge, huge thank you for helping me with all of this. And I felt bad after Naples because obviously we were there on vacation. So obviously you're going to drink. I want to drink. I don't feel pressured by my friends to drink. Like we don't do that to each other, and I wouldn't be friends with anyone that does that. But when I come back from a trip, or I've if I come back from a night out lately, I've started to notice that I really beat myself up the next day, like mentally, of like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have had that because look at you now. Now you feel like trash. And now like you have to take this day to recover. And now you blah, 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 blah. Like I mean, I know myself. I cannot bounce back. Like I truly cannot. Not drinking on that Tuesday night helped a lot. But I'm trying to figure out a better way to handle that. And I saw something on Instagram that said, obviously, health is wealth, taking care of yourself, sleeping, eating right, staying hydrated, working out, like waking up with energy feels so good. But there's a side to health that is the social side. Like if I stay home every night and I stress about making sure that I'm doing everything right when it comes to health, that sounds like a horrible life. So going out with my friends, talking to 21-year-olds, making fun of 35-year-olds, like those are the nights that now I look back and I can laugh on. And I'm so happy that we had those. So I'm trying to figure out the balance between waking up the next morning and not, you're always going to feel bad after you drink, always. And I never get to the point where I can't function because I'm such a lightweight and I just will never. But I'm trying to figure out ways where I can give myself some grace waking up the next morning because trust me, I've done the work with the self talk and keeping it positive and being nice to myself. Like that, true. I did an episode about this like very early on. I have done the work and I create a space that is kind and I keep it that way, except for this one thing, I just can't seem to figure out how to give myself grace. And I feel like the answer, I'm just like dog, like I'm dancing around the answer is just to not drink. So well, I'm trying to figure it out. If you can tell, I've like, this week has just been insane. And this morning I woke up very very early and like got back to New York today, and this has just been so again, that's why we started with a deep breath. So I'm working on giving myself grace after a night out, and I'm really working on not, I think you should just always say no to that last one. That last one that you think maybe, but like now I'm going back on it again. Vacation. I was on vacation. I'm allowed to take a break and have fun with my friends. Anyway. Anyway, so I came back a little stressed and like a little on edge from that, and I'm just trying to give myself some grace, like I said. So something that I was thinking about this week, and what I love about my family, is we talk a lot about our careers, and I feel like I can easily open up to my parents about where I am in my career, where I want to be, the money that I want to make, the things that I feel a little unsettled about. We're that like floodgate is open, and we've been doing that for years, and I love that because I love that I can have someone else's perspective, because obviously I go around and around in my head, if you heard, anything of what I just said, around and around. And looking back on my 25 years of life so far, I'm 26, so 20 whatever. Yeah, 26 years, because you turn okay, we're done. I'm getting a massage after this. that's no, that's the only thing that's getting me through. Um my career so far has been like this. COVID happened and it was like a little like this, but everyone's was, and then we went like this. And I noticed that I was starting to feel a little like antsy, a little like something was making me a little anxious and a little stressed, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then I realized it's because this time last year, I was working on a very, very cool job that hopefully we will see by the end of this year. And this year, I'm obviously not doing that. And I realized that, granted, it's only March. But this is my brain. I'm like, we gotta get something on the books, okay? Because Presley's getting bored and Presley needs to be out and about. I realize I'm not even looking at the camera. The stress is just okay, but it's fine. So, am I okay? Yeah. This is like therapy for myself. Am I gonna be okay? I think so. So I realized that this year is looking very similar to last year. And I don't like that at all because I do not want to plateau. I want to go up and up and up. If I'm being 100% for real, like I do not no. I'm 26, like we should be going. Granted, things are going to happen that you can't control. Sometimes you're going to have dips, but at least the momentum should be moving forward and the outcomes can dip, but the momentum needs to move. So, my momentum, I realized that this year compared to last year things fell into my lap and then I showed up and I worked hard and I got it done. This year, things are not falling into my lap. And I can admit that, okay? That I'm like, where they got to be around here somewhere. Things are not falling into my lap. And yes, it's only March, so it's going to be okay. But I said, okay, what if I take this year, the rest of this time, to create the opportunities for myself? If no one's giving them to me, then I have to do something to create them for myself. I can't just sit here and whine about it all day. I have to get up and I have to figure out how I'm going to make it happen by myself. And that truly, it doesn't compare to having the job because obviously having the job is the best part, but you are in control of yourself. So you can take that first step to say, you know what? This is not looking good. I want to change something about this situation. And we can do that. So I've started planting the seeds, some seeds to take those steps forward and that momentum. And I gave myself deadlines. This has to be done by this day. This has to be posted by this day. This has to be done on this day. And being your own boss that way keeps you accountable. And I remember I had a deadline in my calendar that I made in January. And I was like, oh, yes, I have time. I have time to get that done. I have time to get that done, whatever. All of a sudden, I started looking at actually booking the things and making this project come to life. And it falls right on that deadline anyway. And I said, oh, stunning. It's all working out. So create deadlines for yourself, hold yourself accountable. And, I think that this is a big reset moment because everything else I feel very accomplished in my career so far. So now I can kind of humble myself a little bit now that there's like nothing going on and I can start honestly from scratch. Like, what if I pretended that I was just out of college again with nothing under my belt. And I had, not that I don't have that fire anymore, but you have a different kind of energy where you're like scrappy. At any opportunity, you're like, sure, I'll take it. Like, working for free. Like, I'll take it. So I wonder if this year I can humble myself a little bit, be more open to any sort of opportunity since I'm a little less busy, start networking more, start making some new connections and creating these opportunities for myself. It's not going to be the same opportunity of exactly what I want to do, but at least it's planting the seed and giving me momentum to get there. So that's what I've been thinking about. And the idea of like plateauing, just trying to avoid that as much as possible. I'm not at a point yet where I want to be like settled in my life. And I think if I keep putting this momentum forward, we're going to be okay. Okay, moving on to something more fun. I my hot take of the week is I someone said this and I'm really really trying to apply it to my life. He said men are simple creatures, like don't overanalyze. And I think we tend to overanalyze because we don't want to waste our time and we've also been burned so many times. So it's hard to take a step back and not overanalyze the situation because you don't want to be walking into something that had an obvious outcome staring at you in the face. So I'm really trying to just remember this, go into any sort of like dating situation or even just work, job, friendship, relationship, like talking to anyone situation with trying not to overanalyze and just focus on myself. And that has been the theme of the month. And even with when my family was here, I realized that I think I saw this on TikTok actually that the older sister of the family, like she needs to be with the get it done man, like the everything's handled man. Because I granted my family was visiting New York, so it's not on them to like make the plans and make sure we're at certain places when and all of those things, but I realized that I really, really need to be with someone that is the get it done, make the plan type A, similar to me, because it starts to make me mad when I have to handle everything. And that's not what I want to do. With my friends, I don't care, kind of. I'm like contradicting myself from a couple episodes ago. Like for example, on the trip with Lauren and Addie, we had 2 nights where we had reservations that I made because I was like, we gotta at least lock something down, and we had restaurants that we really wanted to go to, so I handled that. And for the other 2 nights, we had the best time just kind of seeing where it goes, like getting ready with no deadline. Amazing, chef's kiss. But even at dinner, like ordering the appetizers, love my brother, but he was like, I don't know, Presley, like you usually spearhead all this, you know what we want. And I was like, can someone else just pick the appetizers? Like I was, if you guys can't tell, I'm in like a little bit of a weird funk right now. I'm like, I do not want to decide for the table. Like someone else, please pick. Like I'll eat whatever. And this is crazy to be complaining about, but I think it like triggered a little something in me because in my in a previous relationship, I slowly it turned into me doing all of this stuff. Like it started in the beginning that it was him, and then it slowly turned into me. And I remember we talked about that, and his response was like, well, you're so much better at it than me. Like you always pick the perfect place, the perfect vibe, you know what everyone wants, and like everyone always has the best time. And it's because I go to great lengths to do that. Like going out in New York, I'm like, okay, we're going to start here. It makes sense to go to this part after, but it doesn't make sense to go over there. So save that for another night. But then if we go here, 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 perfect. And then everyone doesn't have to trek it home. Like I plan all of this stuff. And it brings me so much joy when I'm sitting with my friends and they're like, this is so great. This is so much fun. I love this place. I'm like, whew, like in another lifetime, I was someone's personal assistant. I don't know. But this is why I need to be with someone that is going to be like right there with me and I can take my hands off the wheel and take a second and just enjoy and let someone else handle it. Also, you know what? This is my hot take of the week. I saw this on TikTok, so I can't fully take credit for this. I hate and I do not like when a man does not text you day of to confirm. Even if he texts you the day before, I don't know. I need a day of, like, I'm going. Like, I'll be there, and trust me, I will happily turn around and leave if you don't show up and go somewhere else or come back home and lay in bed. Truly, I would much rather do that, probably sometimes. But if you don't text me day of to confirm, I'm already like, okay, so this isn't necessarily a priority for him, or he's playing like some weird game where if he was the last one to text, he doesn't want to text me again. Or like you just want someone that like gets it done and is on it and makes sure that like things are happening. So segue into the dating updates. I don't know if you all remember the man that lived in Brooklyn that we went on a few dates, and he like wasn't usually my type, like personality wise. I don't even want to say that because I truly pride myself in not really having a type. Like I've been out with a variety of people and I still am trying to figure out what I like. But he was like a little shy at first, and then he finally came out of his shell, and then we ended up like we had a great time. So he was traveling for the month of March when, or for majority of like end of February, March. And then when he got back, I was traveling. So we made a plan to hang out the night before I left for Naples. And the day before that, I still like hadn't really heard a plan. And for me, that's just, I don't know. Some people are more go with the flow, and I'm really, I am trying so hard to be go with the flow. But like 24 hours before, if you haven't texted me what the plan is, like I don't really want to go anymore. Like I have nothing else to really say. If you're like, okay, we're gonna do Thursday night, and by Wednesday night, we don't have a plan. I'm like, you need to say something along the lines of, hey, I don't know what time I'm gonna be done with work on Thursday. Like, let's do a different day. Yeah. Anyway, so the night before Naples, I was running around all day. I had meetings, I was trying to get this room stuff ready, and honestly, I wasn't feeling well. Like, we remember the Tyler episode when he was like a little congested. I definitely think that he gave some of that to me. So I canceled. I canceled. I was like, sorry, I'm not, like, I actually wasn't feeling well. So it wasn't a lie. And then he texted me the next day and was like, "Oh, have a good flight." And he knows that I got back today and he hasn't said anything. So I think we I think we're experiencing the old fizzle, which is fine. I think it's, if you're not that into me, like, please don't go text me to for us to go out. Like, we don't have to do this if you're not into me. Like, please move on so I can go do something else. So I don't mind a fizzle, and now I'm like, okay, one less thing to worry about. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then um the 26-year-old, he listened to the episode before Tyler, and I was like, I think that was right the day of the night that I met him for our first date, and I was like, "Oh my God." I didn't even think that through. I was like, "What's he going to say?" blah blah blah. But he had some very nice things to say about it, and he also was like, go easy on me, please, when you talk about me. And I was like, of course, just don't do anything crazy. But I'm seeing him Monday night, and I'm very excited. I can admit that I'm excited. So next week you'll get an update on that date. I mean, he picked a good restaurant, and he said 6 p.m. And that is my prime time for dinner because he knows that I like to go to bed early. So, you know, I think he might be locked in. Only time will tell. And I'm just imagining him watching this. And like the girls, me, Lauren, and Addie always say it with us. Always prepare for disappointment, okay? If you feel yourself starting to get excited, like, don't turn into negative Nelly, but just pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes, because people will surprise you. So, I hope that everyone has a great Sunday. I'm going to take tonight to get a massage, take a breath, get my brain together, and snap back into reality. Isn't that like an Eminem song? Yeah. I gotta go. Snap back to reality. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And I will see you all next week. Bye.